Reviving a Broken Beauty. Alamanda-Blanchetii Rescue Mission. This plant is an Alamanda-Blanchetii, commonly known as the Purple Allamanda or Violet Trumpet Vine. It has unfortunately been neglected for some time, which is evident from its overgrown, leggy stems and lack of vibrant foliage. To restore this Alamanda-Blanchetii to optimal health, immediate care is necessary. The process should begin with thorough pruning to eliminate any dead, damaged, or weak growth, which will stimulate the emergence of strong, healthy shoots. It's also important to remove any weeds that may be competing for nutrients and space. Next, the plant should be repotted into a larger or more appropriate container filled with fresh, well-draining soil to encourage healthy root development and overall vitality. Consistent care, including proper watering, balanced fertilization, and sufficient sunlight, will be key to ensuring a full recovery and promoting long-term growth. This is what an Alamanda-Blanchetii looks like after undergoing restorative pruning and being transferred to a new container to support healthy growth. As you can see, I removed all of the stems except one. This is a good example of what we call excessive pruning. Removing too much at once can stress the plant, limit its ability to photosynthesize, and slow down recovery. While it's sometimes necessary in severe cases of neglect, this kind of pruning should be done with care and followed by proper aftercare to help the plant bounce back. In normal situations, prune carefully to maintain plant health and minimize stress. Remove no more than 1/3 of the plant at a time and allow time for recovery between sessions. After heavy pruning and repotting, Alamanda-Blanchetii usually produces new shoots within 5 to 10 days. This is part of its natural recovery, as the plant redirects energy to regeneration. In my case, new leaf growth on my Alamanda-Blanchetii emerged on day 7 after pruning and repotting. This shows the plant's ability to recover and respond quickly when given proper care. Proper care, like steady moisture, bright indirect light, and minimal disturbance, help support healthy regrowth. I placed my Alamanda-Blanchetii in a bright, indirect light location to promote new growth while shielding it from harsh, direct sunlight. Bright, indirect light means plenty of natural light without direct sun on the leaves, providing enough light for growth without causing leaf burn. Alamanda-Blanchetii features striking green, elliptic-shaped leaves ranging from 10 to 20 centimeters in width. These leaves are arranged in whorls of 4, a pattern where 4 leaves emerge from the same level around the stem, an identifying characteristic of the species. The leaf surface is slightly hairy, giving it a soft texture, and each leaf ends in an acuminate apex, meaning the tip narrows to a fine point. The leaf margins are entire, which means they are smooth and unlobed, without teeth or serrations. This leaf structure not only contributes to the plant's tropical appearance, but also plays a role in maximizing light capture and moisture retention, key to its growth in warm, humid climates. For transplanting my Alamanda-Blanchetii into a new container, I used a custom soil mix made up of cocoa peat, red burnt soil, fine sand, old humus, and charcoal. This blend provides a balanced environment with excellent drainage, aeration, and moisture retention, key factors for healthy root growth. The addition of charcoal helps improve soil structure, while cocoa peat and humus boost water retention and support beneficial microbial activity. Together, these components create an ideal growing medium for vigorous plant development. Alamanda thrives in a wide variety of soil types, making it easy to grow in different conditions. You can use any readily available growing medium that suits your convenience, as long as it provides good drainage. This adaptability makes Alamanda an excellent choice for both beginners and experienced gardeners. In my experience, Alamanda grows best in soil with a pH range between 6 and 7.5. This slightly acidic to neutral range supports optimal nutrient absorption and healthy root development. When I grew Alamanda, the soil pH was around 7, which is neutral. This pH level worked well, as Alamanda can tolerate slightly acidic to neutral soil, allowing for good nutrient uptake and healthy growth. Once established, Alamanda develops a strong root ball and root system that does not respond well to disturbance. Transplanting or excessive root handling can stress the plant and slow its growth. Before pruning my Alamanda, I sanitized my pruning scissors to prevent the spread of disease. I used a rubbing alcohol swab containing 70% isopropyl alcohol to sterilize the blades. According to the Centers for Disease Control, isopropyl alcohol at 70% or higher is effective at disinfecting surfaces by killing bacteria, fungi, and viruses. This makes it an excellent choice for sterilizing gardening tools before pruning. When using rubbing alcohol, do not dilute it with water. Diluting alcohol reduces its concentration, which compromises its disinfecting power. A lower concentration of alcohol will result in reduced effectiveness against pathogens, which can leave your plant vulnerable to infection after pruning. Alcohol is highly flammable, so take precautions. Please safely dispose of alcohol swab after using it. Another option for disinfecting tools is household chlorine bleach. To prepare a proper disinfecting solution, mix 1 part bleach with 9 parts water to create a 10% bleach solution. This solution is effective for surface sterilization and can be used to disinfect tools if alcohol is not available. However, I do not recommend using bleach on sharp-edged tools. Bleach is corrosive to metal and can cause rust or dull the cutting blades over time, reducing their effectiveness. As with alcohol, dispose of used bleach safely. Never pour bleach into your garden or compost. It can harm plants, beneficial soil organisms, and disrupt the natural ecosystem. Alamanda grows best in full sun conditions, where it can receive direct sunlight for the majority of the day. Adequate sunlight is essential for strong growth, vibrant foliage, and abundant flowering, making sun exposure a key factor in the plant's overall health and development. For optimal growth and abundant flowering, Alamanda requires a minimum of 6 to 8 hours of direct sunlight each day. Without adequate sunlight, the plant may produce fewer blooms and show signs of weak overall development. Previously, my Alamanda-Blanchetii was growing in a container measuring 20 centimeters in height and 31 centimeters in width. The new container measures 45 centimeters in height and 40 centimeters in width, offering significantly more depth and volume. This larger size provides ample space for root expansion, promotes healthy growth for a vigorous and fast-growing plant like Alamanda. Choosing the right container size not only reduces transplant stress, but also supports long-term development and flowering performance. You can choose to grow Alamanda in a container larger than mine. Generally, the bigger the container, the more extensive the root system can develop. This usually results in a larger, healthier plant with more vigorous growth. However, ensure your container has good drainage. Waterlogged soil can cause root rot, which severely damages or kills the plant. One benefit of growing Alamanda in a container is that it gives you greater control over important factors like sunlight exposure, moisture levels, and temperature. This control allows you to create ideal growing conditions and helps avoid common problems such as overwatering, insufficient light, or temperature stress. Alamanda-Blanchetii is propagated through stem cuttings, which involves taking sections of healthy stems to root and grow new plants efficiently. Using healthy, semi-hardwood cuttings promotes successful rooting and helps establish strong, vigorous new Alamanda-Blanchetii plants. Alamanda-Blanchetii can wilt when exposed to hot weather combined with insufficient water. High temperatures increase evaporation and stress the plant, while a lack of adequate moisture prevents it from maintaining turgor pressure in its cells, leading to drooping or wilting leaves. Once mature, Alamanda becomes drought-tolerant, meaning it can withstand periods of limited water without significant stress or damage. When growing Alamanda in a container, regular watering is essential because the limited soil volume dries out faster than in-ground planting. Alamanda-Blanchetii is typically hardy in USDA zones 10 and 11, where year-round warm temperatures and high humidity mimic its native tropical conditions. Alamanda-Blanchetii thrives in tropical climates, where consistent warmth and high humidity create ideal conditions for vigorous growth and abundant flowering. Alamanda-Blanchetii is native to the northeastern region of Brazil, where it naturally thrives in tropical environments. Some Alamanda species can be invasive. For example, Alamanda scottii, another bright yellow-flowered variety, is considered invasive in Florida. Always check with your local authorities before planting any Alamanda species to ensure they are safe and allowed in your area. Alamanda plants thrive in warm climates, with ideal temperatures ranging between 75 degrees Fahrenheit and 90 degrees Fahrenheit, 25 degrees Celsius to 32 degrees Celsius. Consistently warm conditions support healthy growth and prolific flowering. Alamandas generally do not tolerate temperatures below 59 degrees Fahrenheit 15 degrees Celsius. Prolonged exposure to cooler conditions can weaken the plant and stunt growth. Alamandas are highly sensitive to frost. Even light frost can damage plant tissues, potentially leading to cell death or even total plant loss in extreme cases. Though they thrive in warm climates, temperatures above 95 degrees Fahrenheit 35 degrees Celsius can cause stress, leading to wilting, leaf scorch, or slowed growth, especially if not properly watered. My minimum temperature when growing Alamanda is 23 degrees Celsius, 73 degrees Fahrenheit. My maximum temperature when growing Alamanda is 33 degrees Celsius, 91 degrees Fahrenheit. My average humidity level when growing Alamanda is 82%. I grow my Alamanda in tropical climate. Alamanda is an evergreen, climbing shrub that typically grows between 1.5 to 3 meters in height. With proper support and care, it produces lush foliage and vibrant blooms throughout the growing season. Regular pruning is essential to keep Alamanda bushy and healthy. By cutting back the stems, you encourage the plant to produce more branches, resulting in a fuller, more attractive appearance. Pruning also helps remove dead or weak growth, improving air circulation and overall plant vigor. I usually prune my Alamanda every 3 months to maintain its shape. After pruning, my Alamanda began producing new shoots within just 72 hours. This rapid response shows how well the plant reacts to pruning when it's healthy and growing in optimal conditions. Pruning encourages new growth by redirecting the plant's energy to develop fresh stems and leaves. Alamanda stems are covered with fine, bristle-like hairs, especially when they are young and green. These hairs may help protect the plant from pests and excessive moisture loss during early growth stages. The leaves and stems of Alamanda contain a sticky, milky sap that is considered toxic if ingested and can cause skin irritation in some individuals. Since Alamanda produces a sticky, milky sap that can be irritating to the skin and toxic if ingested, it's strongly advisable to wear gloves when handling or pruning the plant. Additionally, the plant should be kept out of reach of pets and children. If you suspect that your child or pet has ingested Alamanda, contact your local poison control center or veterinarian immediately. Prompt action is essential to reduce the risk of serious health complications and ensure appropriate treatment is given as quickly as possible. I began applying fertilizer to my Alamanda on day 15, once the plant had settled into its new container and showed signs of active growth. Starting fertilization at this stage supports healthy root development and encourages stronger foliage and shoot growth. After that, I fertilize my Alamanda every 4 weeks to maintain steady growth and support flowering. Regular monthly feeding provides the nutrients needed for healthy foliage, strong roots, and vibrant blooms. I use an all-purpose liquid fertilizer to grow my Alamanda. This type of fertilizer provides a balanced mix of essential nutrients, such as nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, that supports overall plant health, promotes vigorous growth, and encourages blooming. You can use any fertilizer that's readily available and convenient for you. Alamanda is generally not picky and responds well to a variety of balanced fertilizers, as long as they provide essential nutrients for healthy growth. Please read and follow the instructions carefully before using any fertilizer. Proper application ensures the safety of your plant and prevents issues like over-fertilization, which can harm roots and stunt growth. On average, I use about 5 liters of water each time I water my Alamanda during this growing season. In my climate, I water my Alamanda only when the soil feels slightly dry to the touch. This approach helps prevent overwatering while ensuring the plant receives enough moisture to thrive. I water my Alamanda between 7 and 8 a.m. Watering in the early morning helps the plant absorb moisture efficiently and minimizes water loss due to evaporation. Water usage depends on several factors, including container size and type, as well as the weather and climate where you live. These variables influence how quickly the soil dries out and how much water your plant needs to stay healthy. Your water usage may differ from mine due to variations in climate, container size, plant size, and other growing conditions. Alamanda prefers moderate watering, meaning the soil should be kept consistently moist but not waterlogged. Overwatering can lead to root rot, which damages the roots and threatens the overall health of the plant. On day 106, my Alamanda started to produce flower buds. This marks an important stage as the plant prepares to bloom, indicating healthy growth and proper care. Alamanda-Blanchetii produces bisexual flowers. Bisexual flowers contain both male stamens and female pistils, reproductive organs within the same flower. This allows the plant to reproduce through self-pollination or cross-pollination, increasing its chances of successful fertilization. Alamanda-Blanchetii produces flowers that are purplish-pink to violet in color. The flowers of Alamanda-Blanchetii have a smooth texture. Alamanda-Blanchetii flowers grow in clusters, forming an inflorescence. The flowers of Alamanda-Blanchetii are borne terminally, meaning they grow at the ends of the stems. Alamanda-Blanchetii flowers exhibit radial symmetry, meaning their petals are arranged evenly around the center, allowing them to be divided into equal halves along multiple planes. The individual flowers of Alamanda-Blanchetii are trumpet-shaped, featuring a flared tubular structure that widens at the opening. Alamanda-Blanchetii produces a cyme type of inflorescence, where the central flower blooms first, followed by the surrounding flowers. One of the flowers is in full bloom, but unfortunately, it's facing the opposite direction. More flowers are beginning to bloom, gradually unfolding their vibrant petals and adding bursts of color to the plant. Here is a close-up view of the flower, showcasing its intricate details, the smooth petals, vibrant colors, and delicate structure. This close perspective allows you to appreciate the beauty and unique characteristics of Alamanda-Blanchetii up close. The flowers of my Alamanda-Blanchetii measure about 3 inches, 7.62 centimeters in diameter. Alamanda-Blanchetii attracts biodiversity, such as sunbirds which are drawn to the nectar within its 5-petaled flowers. The genus Alamanda is named in honor of the 18th-century botanist Dr. Frederick Allamand, or Jean Allamand, who first introduced the plant by sending seeds to a fellow botanist. In my opinion, Alamanda-Blanchetii is easy to grow and low maintenance. It flowers nearly year-round and is perfect for adding vibrant color to trellises and pergolas in parks or home gardens. With its beautiful blooms and vigorous growth, it's a great choice for anyone who loves flowering plants, and definitely worth trying to grow them. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe for more videos.